When I was 20, I stopped by my mom's place one afternoon. She was mid-scream on the phone with her ex-husband, Thomas. Not my dad, not even technically my stepdad. Just a guy who used to hover around the edges of our lives like a stray dog. He had a drinking problem, sure, but he was the kind of drunk who told outrageous stories, laughed at everything, and made you forget your troubles for a little while. Mom, though? She couldn't stand him. She hung up on him with a curse, pulled a crumpled 10 out of her pocket, tossed it at me and barked, "Go get Thomas his damn smokes and bring back my change." Didn't argue, just took the cash and left. Thomas lived in a rotting old house at the edge of town, one of those places that looks like it might collapse in on itself if you close the door too hard. When I pulled up, he was on the porch, cackling with a middle-aged woman who looked like she hadn't slept in a week. She reeked of dollar store perfume and whiskey. As she passed me on her way out, she gave me this weird smile, too wide, like it wasn't meant for me. I handed Thomas the cigarettes. He slapped my cheek, all affection and booze breath. "That's my boy," he said with a sloppy grin. I was ready to bounce, but then he stopped me. "Hey, help me move a dresser in the bedroom, will ya?" I didn't want to step inside that house. It was a hoarder's nest, piles of old magazines, junk, bags of who knows what. But I knew Mom would just send me back later if I didn't. So I followed him in. As we passed through the living room, I noticed someone sitting on the couch, an old man. Looked like he'd been there a long time. Shabby clothes, greasy hair, a deep gap between his front teeth. He smiled at me. I nodded back. We got to the bedroom, and halfway through wrestling this beast of a dresser, I said, "Why don't we ask the guy on the couch to help?" Thomas looked at me like I'd just grown horns. "What guy?" "The old man, sitting in your living room." Thomas didn't say anything for a second. Then he dropped his end of the dresser. "Ain't nobody here but us." He led me back into the living room, and sure enough, the couch was empty. I blinked, looking around, convinced the guy had just stepped out. But the room was dead silent. Still. No creak of floorboards, no opening door, just dust hanging in the air. Thomas looked shaken. "What did he look like?" he asked quietly. I described him, down to the greasy hair and the gapped teeth. He backed away slowly, almost like he didn't want to hear what he already knew. "That man," he said, "was a buddy of mine. Died last year. Right there on that couch. Heart attack. I found him stiff as a board the next morning." He stared at the empty cushions like he expected the old man to reappear. I didn't know what to say. Maybe I imagined it. Maybe not. But as I turned to leave, I caught a faint scent in the air. Something sour and earthy like sweat and old booze. And I swear, I heard soft, wheezing laughter coming from just behind the couch. I didn't stick around to check, and I never went back to that house again.